Alrighty guys, it's Amit and welcome back to DevDreamer. So guys, in this lesson we're taking a look at specificity and importance. So we've already seen that there are multiple ways in which we can select the same element. But in these scenarios, which element style is actually applied and which element style is actually overridden. Let's take a look at a quick example. Let's do an unordered list, and inside this we'll go for a single list item, and inside this we'll just do an anchor tag, and for the text let's just say dev dreamer. Okay, so let's now take a look at the different ways in which we can select this anchor tag. Let's head on over to our style sheet. Just save this first. So here then, we can select the anchor tag in different ways. So the most simplest way to select this would be A for anchor tag. And then in here we can just say color red. And as you can see here on the screen, our link tag is now red. No surprises there. But now let's say we select it in a different way. So we're still selecting the anchor tag, but we're going to select it in a slightly different way. So now instead we're going to say li list item A, and then we're going to change the color. This time let's change it to this forest green color. Okay, and as you can see now, our link tag is now green. Now you might say, well, that's just because of the order in which we've placed our styles, right? We learnt in a previous lesson that our style sheet is read from top to bottom. But let's see what happens when we actually cut this and paste it in before this style declaration here. We can see that it's still green, okay? This does not override this. And the reason for that is specificity. You see, this style here is more specific than this style. And what we mean by that is, in this style declaration here, we've said li and then a, whereas here we've just said a. This is more specific than this. And we can say ul, li, a. So this is even more specific now than this. We're not simply saying take the anchor tag and color it red. We're being more specific in how we're getting to that anchor tag. So as you've guessed here, if we change the color to this of, let's just say purple, now you can see that the color has been changed to purple. And again, the reason for that is because this style declaration is more specific than this one and this one. Now, what happens then if we have IDs and classes on our elements? Well, let's go to our HTML file and let's just include on our unordered list, let's include a class of, let's just say UL. We won't include anything on the list item, but on the anchor tag here, let's give this an ID of A. Now let's head on over to our style sheet and let's just get rid of these styles for now. Okay. If we select this as we did before, UL, LIA, and change the color of this to, let's go for this aquamarine color here. Let's see what happens now when we start using classes and IDs. And for these examples, I'm actually going to be doing the styles above this style here so that we can see that this isn't simply a case of the source order. In other words, it isn't simply a case of styles being overridden because they're placed after the previous style, but rather it's all about how we're actually selecting them. So up here then, let's use the class of UL this time. So say class of UL, then we say li, a. Now what do you think is going to happen? Let's see, let's change the color of this to, let's say Dodger blue. And as you can see, the color of our link has now changed to Dodger blue. And the reason for that is you might say, well, it's the same thing, it's ULLIA, right? But the reason why this is more specific than this is because here we're using a class. In fact, if we were to do another style up here, and we just said select the ID of A, which is the ID that we gave to our anchor tag, and we said change the color to orange red, you can see now that our link has turned to orange red, even though we just used a single element to select it. And the reason for this is because here we've used an ID of A, and IDs are stronger than classes. Classes are stronger than simply elements. Let's take a look at another example that might make it a bit easier to understand. So let's just clear all these. Let's head back to our HTML file. And here then, let's just remove this. And on the body then, we're actually going to give a class and an ID. So here I'm going to say ID of body and a class of body. Okay, so let's go to our style sheet. And here then, remember what we said, let's just put a quick comment in here. We said that IDs, okay, were stronger than classes, and classes were stronger than elements. Okay, so it goes ID, class, element. ID is greater than class is greater than element. So to show that then, let's first select our body element simply by the element name, so body, and let's change the background color to red. Okay, so now the background color of our page is red. Let's now select the body again, but this time let's select it by using class. So we'll say class body, and we'll say background color again, and this time we'll go for blue. And as you can see now, our background color is blue because classes are stronger than simply selecting elements. And finally, you guessed it, let's go for ID of body, and again let's change the background color, and this time let's change it to orange. And once again you can see that now the background color is orange because IDs are stronger than classes. So guys, as you can see then, how we select our element and how specific we are in selecting our element does have an effect on how the element is styled. Now the other thing we're going to look at is importance, and this one's quite straightforward. The importance declaration actually overrides any other style no matter where it lies in the specificity chain. So for example here we can say that body has the lowest specificity, and then class, and then finally ID. Okay, ID is the strongest here. But on our body declaration here, simply selecting by element, we can do the following. On the actual value here, we can do a space, and then exclamation mark, and then the word important. Now watch what happens. Our background color is now red, even though a class selection and an ID selection is more specific than simply a element selection. But because we've used important on this, it actually ignores all other styles, even if they rank above this style declaration. Now personally, I would actually steer clear of using important, because if you start using important all over your style sheet, then you're going to run into problems. So try to steer clear of using important, but again, it's useful for you to know. Okay guys, so I hope you found that useful. If it was a bit difficult to understand, then please do go back and watch the video again. I'm sure once you do so, it'll make more sense. If you still have any questions, then please feel free to get in touch, either on YouTube or our other social media accounts. I'll leave a link for those in the description box below. And again guys, if you found it useful, please like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.